I'm just trying not to throw up. There's a lot of them right there. You start.
For those of you that did bring the Sashas to donate, we'll, at the end of session, have 6 girls waiting over here to your... Oh, did we decide to go over? Last to know. We're not going to go over here, and we'll be collecting when you exit on the left side of the doors.
So the girls are... Girls, can you stand up for me so that people can see who you are? There's 6 of them right here. Yay! Go Sasha collectors. Okay, so look at these girls. They have a pin on the back of their shirt that says Collecting Sasha.
And I personally thank you because my son's a
tonight our topic
baby
is about
there.
time management and fitting Scentsy around your life. So I want to start with a little demonstration, and I forgot to pull my rocks out, so excuse me while I do that. And I'm shaking. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Thank you for whoever was over there. Good. So I want to start with a demonstration of how we look at our life. So if you look at this container, you see that there's lots of things going on in our life, right? So there's already things going on, and we've got to add things to it. We've got to find time for our children and your loved ones. A little bit of time maybe for education. Anybody in school? School, yeah, got to do some extra education. Spiritual time. Maybe a little bit of teaching and mentoring others. Doing things that you love. Anybody like to do things? Your health and your significant other. We'll give them 2 rocks. Okay, so you can see that this jar is pretty full. There's not really a whole lot of time to add a whole lot of extra. But we're women, we still have to add a lot, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me open my bag here. So we still have to wash the car and clean the house and do other things that completely consume our day. So you can see we have a lot of extra time to put in there, and that's all the rocks that are going to fit in there. Okay. And then we have other things. We have school projects. How many have kids? My kids, we've been homeschooling for the last year, and we actually just made a family decision to let our kids go back to school for a little socialization. They went to school on Monday, so I'm a little bit of a freaked out mom, and they came home with like 20 hours of homework on the first day. So they're going, I don't want to go back to school. Okay, so we have to have time for our kids. This is not going down the way I thought it would, but that's all right. We have to have time for extra time for school projects. And anybody have animals? Anybody have to cook dinner? What about shopping? Have to do a little shopping? I mean, we like to do the shopping, but we have to do some shopping, right? And we're women. We have to have time for our hair and makeup. So there's all kinds of things that consume our day. Now, just for the last few things, how many of you like to waste a little time? How many like to play on the internet?
Pinterest.
Exactly. So we have a lot of things that fill up and waste our time. Okay, you told me not to fill it too full, so let's make sure we don't do that. But, you know, if you're looking at this rock, I didn't put in Scentsy. I didn't put Scentsy anywhere in here. So if you're thinking about, if you're a brand new consultant and you're thinking about doing this business, or if you're a guest here today, you're looking at my jar going, my life is already full. There's nowhere to pull it out. So I brought a Scentsy rock, and you have to figure out when and where it goes in. The beauty of this business is we get to decide. We get to decide if it's the water that just fills up our time, if it's the sand that fills in the spaces, the pebbles that add meaning to our life, or if it becomes a big rock and you need to put it in first. There's no way to add it in now, so we got to make sure we pull some things out first.
So my name's Gary, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our history. Jennifer joined Scentsy in June of 2008. And when she told me about it, I just rolled my eyes. So this is probably about the 12th direct sales company she joined, so I've seen them all, 13. So she started to work the business, and then she started doing parties and team meetings and trainings and booths. All I really noticed that she was leaving a lot. I owned my own business, I worked about 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. She owned a business that was open 7 days a week. And we also had our church, our home that we were building. We had family responsibilities and everything else that everyone deals with on a daily basis. On top of all that, we have 4 children. 2 girls from my previous marriage, and we have 2 little boys together. So, what happened though that changed everything was our youngest, Andrew, has always been very sick. So we would be in the hospital every month, sometimes for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. Not conducive to running businesses and starting something new. And in August of 2009, we learned that Andrew needed a lung transplant because he was very allergic to just about everything in the Midwest. So we started talking to doctors and specialists about moving down here to Florida, where it would be a much better situation for Andrew. And we talked together about how we could transition our lives to Florida when everyone and everything we knew was back in Illinois. Jennifer and I sat down and we talked and we decided that Cincy could do this for us. It was August in 2009 when I came on board with Cincy, and it became a big rock for our family. In February of 2010, Andrew's lung collapsed again. So Jennifer packed up our 2 boys, left our brand new house, and moved down to Florida alone. I stayed in Illinois so I could transition my business to being able to be run from Florida and still try to make a living. And I had to sell Jennifer's business, and we had to pack up our brand new home. I did that by myself and put it on the market. I had to make arrangements so my 2 daughters could see their dad and their brothers once a month while we're many states away. And we lived apart for several months. The only time Jennifer and I got to see each other in that time was things like convention, spring sprint, Hawaii.
I guess Cincy brings us back together every once in a while.
Thank God. So we did get to see each other. About a year later, I was able to officially move down to Florida and start over. After living in Florida for a year now, Andrew's lung capacity has gone from 17% to 100%. Off the lung transplant list. And he's a very healthy, happy 7-year-old little boy. We decided that we'd work this business together. And it became our way of life when we needed it to. And now, thanks to the Cincy opportunity, it's ultimately saved our little boy's life.
Cry every time. So a lot of people ask me, how did you do it? How do you do it? So I have a calendaring trick. Would anybody like to know how I fit it all in?
Yeah.
Okay, let's learn. So everyone always, okay, I already read that part. We still travel back and forth to Illinois to see our girls, to encourage our team, and we're homeschooling our boys, and we do Cincy full time. So how do you fit it all in? Well, here's my trick. I was going to tell you today at Cincy Success to pick up a new calendar, but I heard those are sold out. So you're going to have to order those online. And then on your way home from here, pick up a pencil and 3 different color highlighters. You can also use an electronic or online calendar, but I've lost my contacts twice, so it's not a good idea for that to be your only backup system. So gather, and then I want you to go and gather all the calendars in your home. Your sports events, ask your leader for a calendar of events for GT meetings and trainings. The calls from the Cincy home office, anything from your church, your families, your husband, anything you have, all of your calendars, we're going to put them all on one calendar. And a lot of you are looking at me cross-eyed, but I'm going to tell you how it works. Okay, so then make sure you have everything, including your Cincy calls, write it all there. And then I was sharing with John earlier, if it doesn't get on the calendar, it doesn't get done. For instance, we were supposed to register for this event by a certain day, and I put that event, that day on the calendar, and what happened? They closed the day early. So I didn't get registered. They still let me in. I'm glad. But I didn't get any of the cute baby buddies, so make sure you do it early. Okay, so I was just throwing that out there. So we're writing everything in one calendar. And then we're using a color highlighter, include trainings and events. Okay, so then we're going to use a color highlighter to know exactly what's going on with our appointments. Use one for your family, one for your personal appointments, and one for your team, or your business. Now I use yellow for my family, and pink for myself, and green for my business. And I use green because green means money, and the more I have on there, the more money I'm making. But I know that if I go to look at the date and it said, or I've got this Friday, for instance, I have nothing going on. And if I don't have anything going on, I know I'm available. But if that were pink and it was a nail appointment, I know I can move it. If that's yellow and it's a family or church appointment, I know I'm not going to. So therefore I know exactly by looking at my calendar what's going on. So do your family appointments, your personal appointments, your team appointments, your business appointments. And then I highlight the dates that are available for me to work. So you can see that I already had several things going on, and then I went around with the green highlighter and colored when I want to work. And these are the days I set aside. Now if I get to an open greet date, like Friday, and there's nothing going on there, then I know that that's my day that I need to spend working my business. And I set aside 3 to 5 hours, depending on how long what I need to do. And these are business, money-making activities. This isn't organizing my office and spending time playing on Facebook. This is calling previous hostesses, calling previous customers, and getting the orders and getting the bookings. I don't like empty green dates. I like those dates to be filled up, so I spend that time making those phone calls. Now my office is in my house, and when my children were there and everybody was going crazy, I knew that I needed to leave every once in a while, so Starbucks is my second office. They like me there. Tonight and tomorrow morning, when you're reflecting on Spring Sprint and you're thinking a little bit about your life and all those things, I want you to think about what your big rocks are and make sure you're putting those in first. Thank you.
Good job, Jennifer!